the chat. Let's try and make time. All right, see you again.
Thanks, Jacko.
Nice one, Jacko. So, gang, what we've got on our hands here is, like Sam said, an opportunity of a lifetime. I think over the last 3 rounds, we've learned a bunch of things. Some particular highlights I think we can really focus in on is let's not shortcut ourselves by thinking we have to spend 2 days earning someone's respect. I think what Jack and the leadership team and the whole of Australian AIM and African AIM have achieved over the last 15 years is enough to earn respect within 5 minutes. I just think the maturity with which we are able to communicate that and just a real presence when we walk in, I think within 5 or 10 minutes we can see in someone's eyes whether they're up for the opportunity or not. So from that, you shoot them very practically straight across to the application form. Be very clear that's an expectation within the next couple of hours of you meeting them, that they complete that application form. If it's an incomplete application form, that is still valid. That by that I mean they submit something in substitute for the school letter and uni letter. Just basically a couple of words saying I'm going to get it. So from there, we've got 5-minute interactions happening 50 to 100 times over the next 2 weeks for each of us. And I think that can turn into a shitload of apps and people that, were very clear that are good for the opportunity. And I think 9 times out of 10, you can tell that within the first 5 minutes of meeting someone. So what we've got is, I think Ella articulated it pretty well over the weekend, but just to reiterate, we've got 15 apps. We've got 185 seats to fill as the Hooded Scholar seats. If we really focus hard and overcome some of our own insecurities and some of our own defaults over the next 3 weeks, we can fill 185 seats. I think Ella and Jack have been pretty clear that they're up for the role of catching the apps. Our responsibility is to send the apps. So, yeah, minimal driving time. Just be clever with your energy. My advice would be at peace with yourself. Don't anxiously turn yourself into a mess the first couple of days. And just go hard. We can change the planet off the next 2 weeks. Any other tips around the grounds? That'd be my tips. A few other practicals would be take a printout letter of either the LSU Christian letter, which is proof that a uni has signed on before. Take a printout letter from a school, that Christian engaged, or a number of scholars have engaged schools and unis. So there's letters. There's a whole bank of letters. Wiley College has got a letter. I'm sure Ella can flick that to anyone who needs it. Have a little package with those letters. I even made up a little business card with my US number and email. And then the other thing would be print out the white paper. So that's on the website. That's just a relevant piece of information that a uni exec will just go, fuck yeah, all right, these guys are serious. They've got a peer-reviewed research article saying that US needs AIM. So with those letters, that white paper, and maybe a business card, and download the Hooded Hustle highlights onto your desktop, those 4 things should be a pretty streamlined presentation within 5 minutes for whoever you're sitting in front of. So with those 4 things and a solid, really focused 5-minute conversation, I think that can get a Hooded Scholar over the line, and then you move on. On a logistical level, Drew, Patton and I have decided to go into major cities that have 3 or more unis or colleges. and that's a variety of black unis and, state unis. So I think within each uni, we can then look at Hispanic, low SES, mental health representatives, African American, Indian American, all minority groups. So you could potentially get 5 scholars from each uni. And I think it's an expectation that if you've really got a gamer who's up for it and they've just said, yeah, I really want this thing, you say to them, all right, prove you want it and recruit me in a Hispanic, low SES, a mental health rep, and Indian American rep from your uni in the next couple of days, and stay in touch on my US number. So each uni you go to, potential for 5 hooded scholars, 3 unis per town. Let's walk out of each major city with 15 hooded scholar apps. And then if we're all doing that, we should give Ella and Jack plenty of work to do for about 15 hours a day. So we've booked internal flights. So we're going to use that sense of urgency with our meetings. So, sorry, I'm 2 days in Shreveport. Sorry, LSU Vice Chancellor, I know you're busy, but I've got 2 hours left until I got to go to the airport. Just really need to swing by your office and show you a couple of things. And then if you don't get to meet students and you've got a flight booked internally to go to your next city, that would be an opportunity to go, all right, you really want your students to have this opportunity. Here's the demographics that we feel like are experiencing marginalisation. You can speak to that as well. Throw me some candidates from each demographic. Over the next 2 days, I'll be on my cell phone. So then you're turning the Vice Chancellor or the Dean of Students into a recruiter. And there's a couple of clean strategies. Get your little recruitment pack together. And let's have fun. What a fucking amazing opportunity we get to get in there and light this thing up with real clarity over the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Nice, bro.
Thanks, Brendo. Yeah. That's good, man. I'm recording this so I can share it on the Slack channel, but we'll also make sure that those resources that you mentioned are chucked in there and pinned, so you've all got access to them really quickly. Those tactics and those specific things that do work based on past experience is what we want to be doing. Is there anyone else that wanted to share some of those tactics or really specific things that have worked for you in the last rounds that you're going to hit the ground and focus on those?
I mean, sure, because I think Brendo kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think it's just about watching your energy levels. That's sort of one thing that if you need to take a minute before you walk into somewhere, if you're like really on the run and moving at like warp speed, you can not be in the right headspace sometimes. So I think the one thing I found was like stopping on the side of the road for a second to have a look at the view can actually give you so much back that you can be in a headspace where you can then sort of walk into the next place and you've actually had that break, reset, and you can go in with the sense of focus that you need to really kill it in those meetings. So it's just a small one. I think Brendo was spot on with everything that he said.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think I'd just add to Tom where the first 2 days particularly, I think everyone experiences a fair bit of anxiety because the job ahead is so large and so unknown. And exactly what Tom said, just be present, know that you've got the game when the sun comes up. It's okay. And
Just one thing I can do, guys, to help from being back here is Brendo. I chatted to Brendo yesterday, and they had a bunch of contacts through expressions of interest that are in the areas that they're going to, and I've helped getting in contact with some of those ones that they haven't had time to. Overnight, I flicked an email out to a bunch of them, and 3 of them have already come back saying, yeah, can I book in the time for the guys to come and visit me? So if you can do that yourself, that's the best way to do it, because then you've got the contact, you can find the time and do it. But if you can't get to, if you're struggling to get to it and you need support, I'm here to do that, and I can try and help line up some of those contacts for you. So when you hit a college, you've got someone to meet you at the front door to get you bouncing around to those right contacts straight away.
Can I ask a question? Just
Yeah.
for everyone who's already done it before.
Jack,
Hi, everyone.
do you want to just jump in and tell us a little bit about who you are and your story, what's going on, and then go for the question?
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, everyone, I just jumped on as of today. I've been in contact with Blake and Ella over the past couple of weeks, just trying to get on board with you all. I just graduated from school here in Wilmington, North Carolina with a degree in elementary education. My mentor professor was he's into urban education, so I've been focusing on that a little bit with him, just trying to get involved with basically everything you guys are doing, just a disadvantaged community, an area that needs better access to education and things like that. So I reached out. Here I am. Just want to help, like I said. My question for those of you who have already gone on 2 rounds is because of the date. Like, have you had what's the biggest problem that you run into, I guess, when you go to pitch this to people who haven't heard of it, who haven't already set up a time?
Probably getting bounced from a number of different offices and not finding the right kind of people would be, and that just drains your energy and kind of zaps your soul for the day.
Yeah, I think it's two things. One's and good to have you, Jack, in the mixer. It sounds like things have moved pretty quickly, bro. So it's looking forward to seeing what you can bring to the table, and we'll get some routes sorted and maybe have you on a plane very shortly to somewhere. But I think in my mind, across the board, not only in the States, it's just the entrenched apathy where people are just very complacent and very happy with the way things are going, particularly at those top tier universities. So I think the crew's had a lot more success at the, those second and third tier universities where, students that are studying there and also the professors and people that are teaching there come from the struggle. So the story arc actually resonates with them a whole lot more. So that's the first thing I've found as just more broadly, not just for the Hooded Hustle, but more broadly, what can be a bit of a challenge. And then the second one, man, is I think ourselves, when, Brendan spoke about it before and Tom spoke about taking a breath and, just being really clear and concise when you walk in to deliver the message. If we're stumbling on our words and we're not believing in what we're doing, it's going to be very hard to get someone else to believe in us. So, yeah, the apathy is one thing, and then the second thing is, our own personal insecurities or anxiety or nervousness when going into a space that's unknown. They're probably the two biggest hurdles.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Sounds pretty good.
Add something really quickly to that as well. Actually two things. One is that I was on that call with Jack, and I don't think he really talked up quite enough how much this was a last minute thing. Literally, we just had a call to kind of chat about the potential somehow we could make something work between Jack and Eamon, and Jack Manning Bancroft was just like, what are you doing in the next 24 hours? What about the next 2 weeks? Get on the plane, let's go. And Jackass was like, sure, okay. So good moment. That was the highlight of my day.
Yeah, it's the benefits of being unemployed after college.
Yeah,
that's it. What are you doing for the next 2 weeks? Nothing. Now you are. So the other thing I would say, I think, Jack, for you, probably one of the biggest challenges is going to be getting up to speed and game. And I would just encourage you, in whatever time you have before you hit the road, and when you're on the road and whenever you get a second, just do all the reading you can to make sure that you have, just as strong a pitch as everybody else on this call.
Yep.
And I think all of that, if I'm sure you've scanned it, but we've tried to outsource as much of the information as possible, dude. So if you jump on the website, or Ella might send you a couple of key links, but we've tried to outsource as much as the information, and that Slack channel, which I'm sure Sammy's inducted you onto or will be doing, just direct any questions, whether it's, writing or, a video of yourself talking to the camera, so the crew can get back to you really quickly, and we can coach you and guide you and, also learn with you on the run. So
That all sounds pretty good.
Awesome. So after this call, Jack, we'll work out you're most probably going to be joining up with either Tom and Reese in Denver or Leticia and Michelle in Arizona. But we'll confirm that and connect you with the right crew and make sure you've got everything you need. Just to finish this off, guys, do you want to just whip around, tell us where you're starting and what you're going to do to kick off on the front foot? Tom Wensley, do you want to kick us off, mate?
Sure. I think the plan is actually to head north. First up, we've got some leads up in Boulder. Boulder's actually the flagship campus of the University of Colorado, so it's pretty much the biggest one. And we had some really good leads there that we didn't quite close out. So I want to head straight back up there. There's one person in particular that I want to try and track down that Keisha and I met, who's sort of almost that pin-up person.
Thanks, sweetie.
Student president, and we had a really good connection with her named Sierra, but it didn't happen in the end. We were quite confident that it would, that she put an application. She didn't, so I want to go and see what happened there, and then head straight to Fort Collins before coming back down into Denver and then heading Metro in Denver. Actually, there's 4 universities in Denver, and we've got leads on one, and also one uni that we didn't get to as well. So that's pretty much going to take up the first 3 days, and yeah, there's quite a lot of leads there, both academics and university students that I want to chase down.
Awesome, Tom, and you'll be flying out tomorrow.
Yeah,
most likely. Yep, cool. Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, I'm going to Dallas. There's 4 unis there. One HBCU and then a couple of state unis. And then, heading straight over to Shreveport, 2 or 3 unis there, then down to New Orleans, then Baton Rouge, Houston, and down towards San Antonio, and then LA. There's a couple of contacts in LA I want to hook into, and I hope that Russell Brand's still living there.
Track him down, Brendo. Charisse, any update with your passport?
Yep, I am going into the passport office today. I have all of my forms and stuff, so hopefully I can get an interview and get it today or tomorrow morning. So I'm just trying to find a park at the moment, and then I'm on my way to the city.
Good luck. Fingers crossed for you. Is there someone else on the line who doesn't have the video?
That's Keisha.
Oh, hello. Well, I'll unmute you. Do you want to unmute yourself, please? Oh, there we go.
Hey. Hi, everyone. So Mish isn't here, so what I've looked at the day planner, we're starting in Tucson, we're going all throughout Arizona, and then going through New Mexico. So that's how we're going to do it. She's put through a lot of the colleges that we visited, and a lot of tribal colleges. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to hit up in pretty much our whole trip. And that's all pretty much that.
Cool. Safe travels from Mackay. Brianne, anything you'd like to ask and or share with the team?
I think, I'm just really excited to see how this one pans out, and I'm devastated I can't be with the crew this time around, but I'm cheering you on from the sidelines. And I'll be contactable at all times if you need any help or you have any questions, or if you want me to do any follow-up with Hooded Scholars, just hit me up.
Brianne also gives incredible, invisible high fives and fist pumps, and just brings this, hype that is, unparalleled with anyone else that I've come into contact with. So I'm sure she'll also be throwing lots of that stuff out over the course of the next few weeks, won't you, Brianne?
Always, Benny.
Awesome, crew. Go get them. Get on the plane. Safe travels. Manage your energy. Don't forget to breathe. And let's come home with 200 Hood Scholars.
Bring it. Thanks, Sammy.
See you
Thank you,
guys.
Sam.
Let's do it.
Bye.